Welcome to Surviving Schizophrenia with Steven. My name is Steven. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Here are the 3 ways I survived schizophrenia. 1. Listening to my doctors and taking the medication. 2. Support systems from my parents to my family and to my therapist and even an at-home teacher for a while. And lastly, managing my anxiety and depression. I'll start with the first one. My psychiatrist and my medication. So I actually had a very good experience with my psychiatrist since the beginning, once we found one that worked for me. And I've always listened to what she said. Granted, I always talked it through as well. I didn't just take what she said blindly and follow it, but I always listened to what she said, especially when it came to the medication. And I've always taken a medication. I think I've only ever missed like one time. So I've been very careful and make sure like I always take my medication. And that is probably one of the biggest reasons I am here today. Had it not been for the medication, I would probably still be hearing voices, seeing things, having active psychosis, and even also having worse depression and anxiety than I already have. Taking my medication and listening to my psychiatrist and the other doctors has been an incredibly invaluable part of my recovery from schizophrenia. And that also includes, and granted, I wasn't happy about this at the time, but I was hospitalized when I was 12 years old at UCLA Resnick Neuropsychiatric Hospital. And I hated it, but I realize now that was super important for me to get that help and be in a safe place. And I didn't ever try to like run away or escape. I had plans that never would have worked. My idea was I was gonna break through the window, climb onto the tree outside, run to my house. Wouldn't have worked, but I never fought it or anything like that. And looking back, I just realized how helpful and important that was for me to get the help I actually needed at the time. And that has helped me be here today by taking that medication and listening to my doctors and my psychiatrists. The second way I survived my schizophrenia was having a great support network, from my parents to my extended family to my therapist and my homeschool teacher. I'll start with my parents. My parents, I wouldn't be here without them either. They helped me throughout the worst of times and throughout the best of times even. And they were always there for me with what I needed. Even though I hated my mom, she became my psychotic object, which basically meant I hated her for no reason. But even so, she was still around as much as she could be without aggravating me. And again, she never did that on purpose or anything like that. She never did anything, but I was psychotic and so I hated her. But my parents were still always there for me, and I don't hate my mom anymore, and that has passed, thankfully. And now she's there for me all the time, and it's great. Same with my dad. But early on as well, I had, early on, like when I felt ill, I stopped going to school. And I remember after a while, when I was actually able to start learning stuff again, I had a teacher come to my house. And her, Gayla, has been also, she's been amazing and unbelievable. And even though I'm no longer in school, she's still around. We still do things, and it's really cool. She even acted like a therapist for a while. She helped teach me and get me learning things throughout pretty much the darkest time of my life. And this wasn't like sit down and do math equations. No. This was just something I'd find interesting, like history. I've always liked history. And basically not to necessarily teach me how to do things as much as just get me to keep my brain working and learning on things. I also had a therapist for a long while. Sarah, and she would even go with me to the school that I was actually able to go to after a while. And that school actually helped meet my needs better, and wasn't the school I intended to go to for high school, but I ended up going there. And that was also stressful, but I had my therapist there to help me. And my other teacher, she was there as well afterwards to help me with homework and anything else I needed as well. And another incredible part of my support network has been my extended family. So my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, both sides of my family actually. On my mom's side, they happen to be a lot closer in location. And I remember one of my cousins, he would come over, I want to say it was like every Wednesday he could after work. And he'd just be here with me, and we'd talk, and play games, and just have a good time. And that was me being social at the time when I wasn't being social. I was being very isolated because it was too stressful to go out. So my family came here. Another one of my cousins, he would come over and spend like the night, sometimes 2 nights, which was great. We'd have a lot of fun, and he'd bring like a movie or two to watch, and we'd watch that. It was great. And everyone else, they've always been so supportive of my family. My dad's side, it's actually more recent, really, but I go to Texas every once in a while now, generally like once a year or so, and I see my family, my dad's side of the family there, and they're also so supportive, and I love my family on both sides. I'm blessed to have a very good family all around, and they just are super supportive and helpful. And that's been amazing because without their support, I've said this a few times now in the video, but I might not be here either. When I was having thoughts of ending everything, the one thing that kept me going was my family. And without them, like I said, I probably wouldn't be here today. But they were there for me. And so I am here today. And I'm so glad everything has worked out the way it has, because I'm doing really well now, right? I have recovered so much. And I attribute it to those three things, Listening to my psychiatrist, taking my medication. Listening to the doctors and getting the help I need. And listening when they tell me what they think I should do for my health. Having that support system, it's crucial. And dealing with anxiety would be the third thing. Anxiety and depression. And that has been difficult, and I have medication to help with that, but what I usually try my best to do, I haven't been great about this most of the time, but is exercise, right? Exercise is so important. Even when you feel like you can't do it, and that's what I feel a lot of the time. But when I push myself and I go for a walk, I just feel better. I sleep better mood. It helps in so many ways. And another one of my coping strategies that I learned early on was to watch comedies, like TV shows and movies, but comedies. To just laugh and enjoy my time watching it. Nothing harsh and dark and stuff. That has its place, but not with trying to deal with anxiety. And so early on, I'd watch a lot of Get Smart, the one from the 60s, I think. Hogan's Heroes. What did I watch? Why am I blanking? Later on was Dick Van Dyke. Comedies, good, fun, especially these older comedies I find are just more wholesome than modern day comedies, but I enjoy comedies so much. Seinfeld is one of my favorite shows. I just love that stuff. And it brings a smile to my face, and smiling is just good for your mental health, and laughing and having a good time. It has helped reduce my stress and my anxiety a ton. As well as Pokemon. I love Pokemon. I've always loved Pokemon. I was made fun of it for a long time and said, I don't like Pokemon anymore. But eventually I was like, okay, who cares? I love Pokemon. I'm going to play Pokemon. And Pokemon is just, it brings me back to the time before I had schizophrenia, where I can just be a kid and enjoy it, right? try to catch them all. And, that's not really their slogan anymore, but whatever the case. Catch them all, battle, have fun, collect shiny Pokemon. It's just nostalgic, wholesome fun, and I love it. And it helps reduce my anxiety every time I play it. Yeah. So, those are the 3 ways I have survived my schizophrenia. I'll rename them again. Listen to my doctors and my psychiatrists and taking my medication. 2, my support system. And I'm really talking to my family here now. And everyone that supported me. Thank you. You guys are the reason I am here today. And having a support system is just so important. And in my opinion, crucial for my recovery from my schizophrenia. And lastly, dealing with anxiety, because anxiety is still an issue for me. But watching a comedy, playing Pokemon, trying to relax, get exercise though as well, all of that has been incredibly valuable for me as well, and keeping me as happy as I can be. So those are the 3 ways I survived schizophrenia. I hope you enjoyed, maybe learned something, and I hope to see you in the next video.